I'm Laura Sauber, Treasurer for Centerville City Schools. Today we're going to share some information that I presented to the Board of Education at the January 2024 board meeting. It focuses on the Montgomery County Auditor's recent property revaluation, how that impacts individual taxpayers, and what this means for the school district.
So what has happened through Montgomery County, we just experienced a triennial update for tax year 2023. It was an adjustment to market, okay? So it takes all the sale data, the sales of homes throughout the county. It groups neighborhoods, and it applies an increased value across various neighborhoods throughout the county. This reappraisal will impact the tax bills that have just gone out to the residents throughout the county. So Centerville and everywhere else in Montgomery County is just receiving the tax bills that show this reappraisal. So a reminder, what is House Bill 920? House Bill 920 is legislation that was put in place back in the 70s to protect taxpayers from large increases to their tax bills when property values go up. And so everything that we've talked about, again, for months, when the property values go up, the effective rate of voted levies reduces. We as a district, or whichever taxing entity, because this impacts the parks and the libraries and the cities and the townships as well, those effective rates go down so that the taxing entity receives the same amount of revenue from one year to the next. Now, inside millage is separate. That is taxed at the full rate. So that does go up and down with property values. Whatever property value does, the inside millage does. But the majority of the tax is on that voted levy, which is impacted by House Bill 920. Anybody that's interested in looking up what their property value is, or the history of their property value, really, everybody should have received a letter, and so it's probably, the current value is probably at the forefront of their mind. But you can go on to the Montgomery County Auditor's website and do a property search, and I've put the link here for anybody to be able to do that. You can click on the tab that says Value History, and you can take a look and see what has happened to the value of your property, or any property. You can look up any property by address, see what has happened to that property over the years. And so in this example, you can see in 2020, it jumped from 19 to 20, it went from 316,000 up to 341. And then that 341,000 stayed the same for 3 years. We get reappraised every 3 years. And so that's very typical to see that value stay the same for 3 years at a time. So I expect this new value for this particular property at $448,000, I expect it to be that for next year and the year after. That typically is what will happen. So again, this is just informational so that you can see, anybody can go out and search. This particular property happens to be one of the averages through, like the exact average almost, is 31.3%, which was our district-wide increase. So next I want to talk a little bit about our effective rate. And so again, remember from House Bill 920, when property values go up, the effective rate reduces. Okay, so this is just a very small screenshot from the levy distribution tab for the property that we looked at on the last slide with that historical value. And this is from tax year 2022, so before the reappraisal. Before the reappraisal, every resident in Centerville that pays tax to the school district, which is everybody in Centerville and Washington Township, paid an effective rate of 45.88 mils. And that's for all of the levies that the district has. It's inside millage, it's the bond issue that's still out there, the permanent improvement, and then any of the operating levies that we have. It also includes the emergency levy as well. So it's everything that the district has. After the reappraisal, you can see that effective rate reduced because, again, the values went up, right? Everybody's homes increased in value. The effective rate has to come down so that the district receives the same amount of money. Every taxpayer now on the school district only, this is not township levies, it's not, fire levies or anything like that. This is only the school district tax. That new effective rate now is 36.16%, or not percent, but mils. So we went from 45 mils down to 36 mils. And so I guess this is just trying to prove prove all the things that we've been saying for months. House Bill 920 is real. This is what happens. But does it affect every taxpayer the same? Not everybody's property value is doing the same thing. Some people will go up the same as the average. Some people go up more. Some people go up less. And so just to walk you through, this slide is only inside millage, okay? And remember, on inside millage, whatever your property value is, we pay the full 5.25 mils. That is directly proportional with what your value does. That is the growth that the district does see. And we've said that on inside millage, we do see a little bit of increased revenue. So Taxpayer A, their value went up almost 53%. Their inside millage went from $317 up to $484 for a difference of $167, which means the percentage change there was 52.7%. So that percentage change in tax for inside millage only is identical to what their home value went up. And you can see that for Taxpayer B, who is the average district. That's the one in the example that Mr. Dahl was just referencing. That's Taxpayer B, the same as the average. And then Taxpayer C is well below the average. They still had an increase. So their home value still went up, but it went up by 17%, which is well below the average of 31%. So next, let's look at just the voted levies. Okay, so this is without the inside millage and what happens to those same three property values. So Taxpayer A, again, this person's value went up 53%. Their voted tax, and again, this is school tax only, went from $2,455 up to $2,852. That percent increase is a 16% increase on the voted levies. Taxpayer B, however, remember, their average is the same as the district's average, $4 difference. So they actually reduced by $4. It's a 0.09%. It's almost exactly the same as what it was in the prior year on the voted levies. And then Taxpayer C, a 17% increase. Again, still an increase in value, but well below the average. That person's taxes actually went down by $648. They had almost an 11% reduction in the tax on the voted levies. And so when you combine that with the inside millage, so this is the total tax then that is paid for the school district on their tax bill. Taxpayer A, they saw a 20% increase in their tax bill on the school district portion of their tax bill. Taxpayer B, 3.5%. The average that the auditor was using countywide was 4 to 6%. That falls right in line with what the auditor had said would happen to the average property homeowner. Taxpayer C, they're going to see a reduction of 7.6%.
The bottom line is that when property values increase, the effective rate decreases, so the district receives the same amount of revenue from voted levies from one year to the next. Not all taxpayers will see the same impact there is in the reevaluation. If one person's tax bill goes up, then someone else's went down. That is House Bill 920. If you have specific questions about your property reappraisal, please contact the Montgomery County Auditor.